We live in a changing society. We see many megatrends which also influence the forest sector. We have an aging society, we have an increasing population. Now we are 7 billion people. In the year 2100 we will be 11 billion. So there's a lot of pressure on nature and on forests.
The social claims in the forest will get more important, and we have to mainstream the social function of the forests.
The forest sector has a lot to offer and to provide solutions for society. You can think about biodiversity, one can think about recreation, health, and other related aspects.
On the other side, there is a rising demand to wood supplies. And we have to deliver this sustainable resource in an economical and an environmental friendly way.
If you think about renewable resources that are very important for our future buildings or energy, so there is a lot that forests can contribute in this aspect to substitute fossil fuels.
For this we need very well trained and skilled forest workers, and also we need new technology.
In 2015, ministers responsible for forestry in Europe agreed on and adopted their understanding of green jobs in the forest sector as those which are decent and connected with the management and the use of forests, and to environmentally friendly production processes based on goods and services from sustainably managed forests.
The concept of the green jobs is very much fitting these days into the overall policy agenda, both in the European Union and at pan-European level.
Some of the countries are considering the so-called labeling of green jobs in their national classification of occupations, if you like it. One of the key things that we need to do to get there is to really formalize those jobs and to keep a closer eye on the actual developments when it comes to the growth of the forestry sector in general.
We cannot discuss either economic issues or employment issues in separation from economic situation. The whole forestry is getting transformed from, let's say, a bit old-fashioned forestry in the past, based mainly on the resource use, on the timber harvesting and sale, into more meeting the demands of the contemporary society, which means more ecosystem services, more other than productive function from forests. Whereas there is still lacking system of so-called payments for ecosystem services. But then we cannot have decent or green jobs without salaries, and then the money that comes to pay these salaries usually and to the greater extent still comes from the timber sale.
When we talk about green jobs in the forest sector and more broadly across sectors, one of the central aspects is to provide young people, students, professionals with the skills and competences required to actually carry out these new professions, these new green jobs.
The skills we already have developed in the forest sector, it's about knowledge about biological system, about ecosystems, is technology skills. In the future, more prominent also digital technology.
We have, for example, laser scannings, we have sensor networks in our machines, and these sensors are connected together to decentral networks. We have a rising demand in recreation, in health, sports, leisure and education in the forest. So what we need are cross-sectoral skills like health experts, pedagogical experts, or environmental management.
The industry is full of people who are all very similar, men, often middle-aged men or white men. Then they won't be able to see the world from other people's perspective. They won't see opportunities, and they won't be in touch with new markets. And so by bringing any sort of diversity into the industry, women is a good opportunity, is to make it more resilient and more creative and more adaptable to the future.
Occupational safety does represent one of the key challenges in the forestry sector in general, because of the high incidence of fatalities and severe injuries, which goes up to twice as high than in some of the other badly performing industries, such as the one in construction. So in order to get the things better, you would need the training of the employees on one hand, but also an improved inspection, whereby many countries that where we are present, unfortunately have the problems with very limited capacities of labor inspectorates, but also with very limited competencies of labor inspectorates in general.
We have to encourage people and to promote lifelong learning. For this, European view is needed to find optimal solutions for the challenges of changing work in the future.